Maybe you've had influences in the past with or pictures of what masculinity looks to you and femininity looks like to you. But I'm sure that you had to make up your own ideas and gain your own ideas along the way. Considering that you took in this path that isn't the a well-trodden path. So we can start with you. You see, what does masculinity mean to you in a family sense, in presenting, etc., etc.
In a family sense, firstly, for me is protect. First, protect. I have been gifted this group of children and a wife, a beautiful wife, and I need to make sure they are protected first in any and every way. My bro, I can hack off if it comes to my family. That's the thing. Do not touch my family. Don't go near my family. You can comment on social media. They go at her all the time. But I treat it with...
Naturally.
I go back with love and sarcasm. So now and again, I am fucking sarcastic. Yeah. I'm trying not to be. Trying to get out of it. And it's slowly coming.
But that's you, man.
That's me. I am just sarcastic. But don't go. If you're going at my family, like I said, protection is my first thing. I'm going to come back at you, unfortunately. But with love.
Yeah.
Most a lot of love. That is just me. Yeah. That's the one thing. And provide. I need to, when I say provide, it's not just money. Security is important. Listen, without security, you can't do much. Security is there. I've hustled my whole life. This child has seen the lengths that I go to make sure that my family is provided for. And listen, that is the duty of a man. We need to look after family. But if a woman comes and she has a stronger position or a better job, I have no issues with that. I appreciate that. But I will still do my part, play my part. And if you don't have balance, I believe you're going to struggle. So again, relationship-wise, the two of you must kind of get along when it comes to the providing and this and that. And
only kind of.
She must allow you, and you kind of, and you must also allow her, kind of thing. But like I said to you, those things for me, and just to make sure that they grow up beautiful people, my children. I'm there because I set an example. My example is how you're going to live your life. Why? Because I'm a fucking lekker person, one. I'm a God-fearing person. Whether I believe in God or not, it's not my business. I'm a God-fearing person. And I treat everybody the same, whether you, the person at the bottom of the barrel or a CEO, I will treat each and everybody the same. And that's with the utmost of respect. And my children, and I'm proud to say this, and this is what they watch you. This is how they act. And this is what parents need to learn. The way you act at home is how your kids are going to act on the streets.
Yeah.
And I'm very proud of my children.
And I love that you mentioned that, because one of the first things that I identified with you was that you're just like straight up a good dad, and you really that's a dad brag. We don't see a lot of those, especially from my background. You don't see a lot of dads using their kids as a flex, supporting their kids as a flex, using being at the soccer, the athletics, being at everything that I know you're at, being there. They don't use that as a flex. It's like, it's not so common in our community, not so common from our background. But that is one of the things I really like. And I feel like if you're already a good dad, there's such a high chance you have good kids.
So true, eh?
Yeah, just because you're present and you're there, and you're already telling us that you've identified that the things that are valuable in this life are not the material things. I said to Luke on our way here, by the time we die, we're just stories and legends.
Absolutely.
It doesn't matter what car you were driving, what shoe you were wearing, but my dad was there. I remember my dad always being there. I remember my dad saying this. I remember that day I needed my dad, and
100%.
Not a lot of people can relate to that. So shout out to you for being a good dad. But in context with what we were saying, it's like, if you're a good dad, it's easy to have good kids, man. Because they watch you. They see what you're doing.
Eh? So true.
I'm just guessing because I'm not a dad.
No, you spot on. Can I just add one small thing onto that? That is spot on. Sorry, Tamina, I'll give you a chance now.
Okay,
but this is about you. So when Tamina was at Rustenburg Girls Junior School, listen to this beautiful story. And she was a netball player. I was the netball dad. I was the only man there with a whole lot of women as parents.
Of course.
But I did not miss a single game of her school and netball. And the most beautiful thing I've seen as a dad happen on this day. She was playing shooter and she was on 23 points. She had broke the school record for that. And I'm sitting on a bench behind the poles. There's a bench this side and that side. So I moved that side and this side. And I'm sitting there and listen to what you were saying. What you were saying was just to be there. And I sit there and every time this child scored 23 goals, 23 times after she scored, she looked at me and she winked at me and she blew me a kiss.
Yeah.
And that is how your children appreciate you being there. And that is how you create the most beautiful memories.
Absolutely.
I even wrote a book about it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it's so beautiful and people need to hear it. And what you're saying is true. You need to brag about your children. You need to brag about you being a good dad.
Yeah.
You can rub off another dad.
100%.
Exactly.
100%.
And it also goes back to working on your own clock, you know, like having that privilege to be there and be present. We're not shading any parents who can't be there, obviously.
Yes, 100%.
But
Agreed.
having the time and choosing to make time, it's also very important. I come from a dad who, I went to Rondebosch Boys, and he was the only one at the cake day. He was the only one, the only dad giving rides back and forth from rugby far away. So I'm used to seeing this dad figure doing it, and it means the most when I speak to my friends who don't have that. You can see it. You can see it in the way they move. You can see it in how they speak. You know, so it's so much. I just really appreciate those type of conversations, those type of interactions, because I do not think we see enough of that. It's because it's also then stems into a whole healthy household of things. And now you're talking about the machine that a family is and how everybody does their part to cohesively make this car run. It's like, it's not just one person. So you all are constantly, oh, I got a good dad. I want to be a good daughter for my dad.
There we go.
I want to be a good brother for my,
Spot on.
it's amazing how it all connects. But often when we do not on our own clock, and we're so busy chasing everybody else's time, meeting their stuff, we can't even think about it.
I'm just beeping. Sorry, guys. Sorry.
That's brilliant. You should say that.
Yeah. No, that's fine.
No.
So on that, it's I think a lot about colored culture and community. We'll get to femininity very soon. I promise you. The thing is, like, I've thought about our history. Like, it's like there was obviously apartheid, which was very confusing for the colored community. You know, are we white? Are we black? Where do we sit? Black and white were taken. You know, and you know. Grandfathers of our or my grandmother and what etc. were in the war and whatnot. They had to be hard and almost distant emotionally from their family. So it's really good to hear these examples of masculinity being more holistic, not just providence and discipline and you know these hard things.